Greetings, ghouls, and welcome to another dive into horror television. Tonight we're taking a look at an episode of the super cool show, The Hitchhiker, an often overlooked horror anthology from the 80s and early 90s. This episode is titled Man's Best Friend, and boy am I excited to see a good boy. Let's get right into it. In the opening scene we meet Richard Shepard, a down-on-his-luck yuppie. His wife is fed up and throws him out in the opening scene. The poor schmuck is down on his luck. So he packs up his car and he goes to his college best buddy's place. His buddy, Carl, is going to New York, but lets him stay there while he's gone as long as he promises not to mess up his stuff. Easier said than done. So the first night, as a lonely bachelor, what does our guy Rich get into? He watches the horny cable channel, drinks some booze, and of course, calls home to his wife to see if she will answer him yet. She won't, and he chucks the phone and smashes a valuable-looking antique. Rich really is downward spiraling here. He wakes up and he swears he can hear some strange noises coming from around the house. He investigates the strange noise, and this house is exquisite, so let's take a look around the place. Oh wow, there's something creepy in the pool floating in the deep end. Is it a dead body? No, it's a horrible blow-up doll. There's still a weird noise that's getting closer. It's almost like a howl, but it's like a little weirder, more unnatural sounding. There's a strange dog, and Rich wants nothing more than to make friends with it. A very relatable quality, Rich. He wakes up the next day and the dog is inside, excited to see him. What a good boy. So that day's mission is to go find Eleanor, his wife. So he goes to the salon she frequents and he causes a scene. I wouldn't imagine a scenario where I'm going to interrupt a lady's salon time and lift up the little headpiece thing. Yeah, no, not happening and not a wise move, Rich. This gets him in some trouble with the salon owner.
I'm gonna rip that wig right off your head, pal.
Rich finds out the salon owner may or may not be sleeping with his wife. He throws Rich out of his salon and then slaps him one in the kisser. Man's best friend is there and he's pissed about the salon owner. Very mad dog. Later that night the dog is missing, but he comes back and he's a huge mess. So Rich takes a shower with the dog and there's blood just pouring off of these two. I'm thinking who the blood comes off is left intentionally ambiguous in this scene. I wasn't sure what was going on at all until the dog brings Rich a newspaper the next day. On the front page we learn the salon owner was murdered by a stray animal and left in a shallow grave near where they're staying. Also, what the hell is going on with the debris and shit littering his buddy's house? How did he mess it up that bad already? It's been like less than a weekend. So later he goes to accuse his wife's therapist of something delusional and annoying. He thinks the therapist is having a lesbian affair with his wife, and then he's a real ass about it and storms out. Back to the pigsty, the barnyard, the dumpster-piled penthouse. The dog is a bloody mess again, and Richard takes care of the best buddy. While he's making sure the pup is well cared for and his wound is nice and clean, the radio gives away the dog. The news reports that the therapist was found eaten up by a stray animal in the same way as yesterday's murder. It's starting to click for Rich that hey, maybe your dog is a really bad dude. But no, Rich is very thankful for his pooch from hell, the dog that kills his enemies. Later on, his college bestie gets home from his trip to New York, and believe it or not, he's absolutely stunned with the state of his once gorgeous place. It's not even recognizable at this point. When he confronts Richard, it eventually becomes clear that this guy is out of his mind, and he's gotta flee. So Carl, the college bestie, runs out of his own place. The dog bites him to smithereens off screen. What a shame, he was a really great friend for letting Rich stay when he was down and out. The next day, Rich takes a pic of himself and the dog. A good old Polaroid. Remember those? The phone rings and it's Eleanor. The dog barks viciously at the phone, giving us a sign that she's next. Rich tells the pooch, no way, that's his wife. Later, Eleanor is surprised to find Richard interrupting her shower time. She goes out there against her better judgment and talks to his delusional ass. She finds out about the killer dog and its victims from Rich. She's pretty speechless about the entire thing. Eleanor tells him he's never had any enemies. His worst enemy is himself, and it has been all along. He tries to choke his wife, but he gets kicked in the sack. She locks herself in the bathroom, What else can she do? The dog pops up out of nowhere, but this time, it isn't friendly. It's mad at Richard. The dog is covered in blood and lunges at him. Richard jumps out of a window, scared to death. His wife finds the Polaroid pic, and wow, there was never a dog to begin with. His best friend was just a figment of his imagination. Wow. What did you think of this one, ghouls? I'm gonna happily rate this one an 8.5 out of 10 for the show Hitchhiker. I really wasn't sure where they would take this one, but yeah, that checks out. The poor guy was seeing a dog the whole time. Very spooky, and I was really impressed with the lead, Michael O'Keefe. Brilliant performance. I had a hard time hating the guy. I was rooting for him the whole way through. That's why it works so well, I think. This type of story is fairly common. A man loses touch with reality and kills people. We've seen it before, we'll see it again. The dog actor was a very good boy, if that needed to be said. So next up, I'm covering another story involving dogs, so I hope you're ready for more adorable, spooky dog content. I sure am. Huge thanks to those who made today's video possible. $1 here or there helps out a bunch. That's all for tonight. Be well and stay spooky.